flows from the flatlands and deep roots.
Mike Bolin, and welcome to this edition of the Flatlanders Show. It's been a while. It's been about 3 or 4 weeks since I've done one of these podcasts. Just got busy with other things and just around the silver shop, and it's been too busy to really take the time to do something very meaningful. And so what I have done this last week is I worked on the bass guitar of Chicago John. The headstock on it had broken off entirely, and I put it all back together. In this episode, I'll show you exactly how I did it, and how far I got. And then in the next issue, I'm going to be putting strings on it and actually trying it out after I've let everything set up good for about 48 hours. And seeing if it'll play. I might put it together. I'm going to show it right here. I might put it together and it might just crumble and fall to pieces. You can be the judge of how it's going to turn out in the end when you see how I put it all together. Anyway, that'll be this show. It took a whole week. I'm actually doing the intro at the end of the show because I did an intro, but I didn't think it would take so long to do this, but I had to glue stuff, and stuff had to sit up and stain, and It just took one day, led into the other. So anyway, at the end of this episode, though, we did get the headstock back on the guitar. So you can be a judge of how good a job I did on it. And also on the next show, I'm going to be working on another guitar that I explain at the end of this show. And we're going to put strings on it and play it. Get Chicago to come over and play a little bit of it. So y'all stay tuned and get ready. It's a pretty interesting podcast. I wanted to show the bracelet one last time to everybody who's watching. We're going to have more giveaways of stuff I make. This one, of course, is unique because it's got the big commemorative buffalo nickel in the beginning. We actually used the Native American side, and then we have a traditional buffalo nickel, and then I also picked up some Indian head pennies to finish it off with. That's a 1907. Anyway, it's a nice looking piece for some lucky viewer. Okay, I'll take a look at it. I already sanded on it a little just to see. You can see the cracks there, crack there. You can see it cracked right across here all the way. And they glued it up with just any kind of glue they could find. But you can see the hairline. That's not a hairline, that's a big old crack. You can see where they put it together. When they put it together, they used wood screws, or machine screws and wood screws, just whatever they had. I went ahead and took off everything, took the nut off of it. I'll remount that. I took the tuners off. I'm going to clean all this up. One of the first things I'll do is start cleaning it up, and then I'll start figuring out how I'm going to fill this in, and if I'm still going to use these screws. I just wanted to show you here what I was talking about. You can see that give in there. That's the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix this and clamp it. This I'm gonna sand just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna pull all. I can tell that's some sort of caulk or something I put in there. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready to glue. Well, I got it glued. I went ahead and put the nut on. I started putting some of the medium thickness, not the thin, down in here, and it's like a hole without an end. That's where he had one of those wood screws. But I did get the this part of it glued. It's a little uneven here, but I think I can fix that. once it dries, I can sand it a little and bring it all flush. So I'm gonna let that sit for 24 hours, and I'll come back tomorrow and we'll start step 2. Okay, well, this is the next day, the 9th, and I haven't been out here just today. I'm going to take these off, see if our glue did what it's supposed to do. I went ahead too, as I said, I cleaned up and that nut, and I glued it with the glue I brag about all the time. I also went in and seamed these as well. Did good. I can tell that it's done a really good job at fastening the fretboard to the neck. Since yesterday, I've looked on YouTube and found this is not a common problem, but a problem that happens more times than a musician would like to think, when somebody just completely breaks a peg head off. And what they do in this case is not what I have done. They go in here and they'll cut grooves out about the size of these inlaid pieces, and they'll cut them from here to here, and they'll cut a trough, and they will, after they get the trough cut, they get pieces on the ones I looked at. It looked like they were using mahogany, and they drive them down. They glue them and drive them down in there, and then finish them off. So this put me at sort of a quandary about what I could do on this and not go so in depth. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it up, have a good look at it, and my idea of screwing in, making a hole here and driving down some dowel rods isn't going to work. At least I don't think it's going to. And I'm going to look at that and try it, but I'll probably end up, and see that I thought that was putty at one time, but it's not. It's actually a piece of wood they drove in there. So I'm going to work on it and clean it up a little bit and see how tight it all fits. It fits. It's amazing how tight it is right now. I mean, just what that glue did. But if I do it, I might just go back with the screws and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then we'll go back to the drawing board. Okay, well, that's not going to work. It just, when I put the screws in it, this thing has splintered. It's splintered in so many places. When I was working on it then, I discovered something else back here. Somebody has tapped in a small nail, and a small nail has been tapped in there. So it is like Swiss cheese, and you can tell that break there. That's the one I think that'll keep it from the screw system from being any more than a temporary fix. And so I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut a channel. I'm going to cut on both sides. I don't know what tool I'm going to use. You might have to chisel it. But anyway, you can see that neck is cracked all the way down to there. So I'll bring it to about right there to right there, and I'll cut a grooves going up about that high on each side, and then I'll inlay a piece of board in there of some sort. It's gonna work into a whole lot of work. Okay, this is the rotary tool I'm going to use. I don't really even know what this is. I don't even know what it's made of. I know it has a lot of cutting power. I don't use a lot of this in the silver shop. I just, there's no need. But this is the only thing I have that's even close to being able to work on it. So I'll pull it over here. Let's see. I'll show you a little how to make progress. Well, I think this is going to work. It's going to be a slow process. I think that's high enough on that one edge. See about this back one here. Yeah, I can just see some Luther with decades and decades of experience watching this and going, holy shit. Oops, I'm sorry. Holy smokes. What is he doing? And then I'm probably going to have to go to town and find a piece of a board. But I can sort of see it now. I had to bring this pretty low, as you can tell. But, you know, even with fixing this, we still have some issues on this little deal. But they're shallow. You can see. Excuse me. You can see that they're shallow. So we'll deal with it as we come. Got this stage, I'll start chipping it out, and then I'll come back to you. Okay. I've made pretty good progress. There's a metal piece in here surrounding the rod, the truss rod that goes through it, and I have to be real careful of that. But I hadn't hurt anything or nicked anything yet. Now I have to smooth it up with some sand, with a drum sander. I have some little drum sanders that will get in to places like that to where I can get in and try to get everything as smooth as possible. Then we'll take a look at it again. I'll start looking around here to see if I have a piece of wood that I can cut and splice back into there. Well, went out in my wood pile and found some trim. I don't know, this is brown wood. I don't think it's mahogany. I'm not real sure what it is, but I think it'll work just fine. And the depth of it's nice. I'm gonna have to, it doesn't quite fit, but I think with a little bit of work and a little bit of sanding, I can cut these two pieces in, and I think it's gonna work pretty good actually. Well, there you have it. I don't have any glue. You can see my lines are making it. You can see where it's going there. This will go down in there. I'll tap it down good, and I'll glue it with wood glue. Okay, I glued, let it set it up for an hour. I used this Gorilla Glue. I read it about it. It says it's super stuff. It said it expanded a little, and then after it started drying, you can see how it's expanded. It's still a little malleable right there, but I'm afraid to touch it for the next 24 hours because it says I can chisel that away. I'm not so much concerned about that as much as it is how deep it got into here. And we'll know when I start, you know, I'm gonna use this saw, which is my really good silversmithing saw, but it's very precise, and I can go down through there and I can make this a very nice and neat cut, and then sand it down. If it starts getting loose, I'll pull it back out and try again. I'm really concerned about this. Anyway, and then what also was a greater concern is when I pulled it over, it had blown out of this hole, and this, which if you'll recall we put on yesterday, was the nut on it, was a little plastic nut, and whatever that was, it ate this away. It ate and deteriorated that nut, so I had to come in and pry it back off. I'm gonna go and try to find another nut. We'll see, but it's as far as I'm gonna get on it today. Okay, I had to switch cameras, but I was able to get, I just wanted to show that I was able to get my truss rod to move. It is moving, so it had put it in there, and you can see it's there we go. But yeah, you can see it's free, and that's what I don't want to Didn't want to glue that into place for sure. But unfortunately, the big unfortunate is I'm going to have to go find another nut. And it did a number on it. Wish I would have used Elmer's. I used Elmer's the first time in 8th grade shop to build a chess table. And it always worked like a charm. Anyway, well, that's going to get us for today. It's Friday. It is the first day of the summer solstice. And as I promised you, I would do the drawing. I did it today. And the winner's name is Gary Byers. And I know Gary. He's here in Lubbock. And I'll contact him today. But we're happy for everybody who entered. And like I say, we're going to be doing other giveaways. So maybe you'll get lucky on this next one. Okay. Hey there. Another day has gone by. I've let it sit up. As I was saying before, I'm sort of worried how well this Gorilla Glue is going to work. It does seem to be in there very tightly, but now I have to do sort of a precision thing, and that's I've got to cut this away. Some of them show they'll use a wood chisel, and they'll slowly sort of whittle it off. But I'm going to go with a coping saw, and I think if I'm careful, I was going to use my saw I use in silversmithing, but I also have this little woodworking saw, and it's got a pretty good blade on it, I think, provided I'm careful and I don't exert any downward force on it. I think perhaps I can get it cut off with this and have a lot more precise cut. Once again, this would be a good thing to have on time lapse, but I still hadn't messed with that on this camera yet. But I'm gonna shut it off, and as I can tell, I'm gonna have to raise it up a bit. When I do, it's gonna hit that camera. It's gonna look all funky, but I'll just show you. You can get in close and you can see what I'm doing, and I'll saw some more and then I'll come back. Bring me back in for this one. You can see already made a considerable amount of progress on both of them, and now I'm going to cut them down across here and line them up, so when I make this angle cut I can see both sides, so I'm not cutting into the head or the neck of this guitar. And I just made that cut down. It's a little jagged, but that's really not going to matter. It's rough across here, but none of it went into the headstock. That's the main thing that I want to avoid. And I have the little drum sanders that I can sand this smooth very, very quickly. So next I'm going to move on to this hard one, and I'll cut it again there. And then there's a bow in the neck, so I'm going to have to do, when I get down this far to the bow in the neck, I'm going to have to do them individually, which will be sort of tricky, but I've already got an idea of how to get it done. Well, I got this far, and the coping saw, I was afraid it's gonna, you can see the bend on this neck, and the best I could do is cut across the top. And so I'm cutting channels right here, and then I'm gonna take my wood chisels and I'm gonna chisel it out and see if that can give me some control, so I don't end up getting off into the neck of the guitar. I'd like to get in here and show just a little how I'm chiseling it out. You can already see that I've made significant progress, and the chisels I'm using, you know, chisels can cost a whole lot or a whole little. And these are from Harbor Freight, and I've had to go in and sharpen them, and that's what I did before this. The main thing you're dealing with, especially something like this, your chisel needs to be sharp. I'll show you just as close as I can without, I still have to be careful. I want to be real careful that I don't splinter anything wrong or get down into that neck. As you can see, he was taking nice slow passes through it. Well, you can see that it really actually did a really good job, and I've been testing it and it seems pretty dadgum sturdy. I'm going to do some barrel sanding now and try to even everything up, but I'm really pleased how that came out. And first I want to get it sanded and shaped and in position and judge and see if I'm going to have to get some dowel rods. If I do, I'm going to have to go up to Home Depot to get those. It's a Sunday, so I'm going to be out here working because the put me on there. Yeah, the Gary Buyer, the gentleman who won the coin bracelet, is coming by today to pick it up, and I want to give it to him and film that. So I told him I'd be down here working. So, and it's in the afternoon, so he's going to show up before too long. But first, while I'm waiting on him, I'm going to do the barrel sanding on this. We'll finish the barrel sanding, and then if I have to, I was going to go ahead and post this as it was, but I'm getting so close to the end, I think I'm going to wait, even if it has to take another day and I've got to go get dowel rods and mess with all of that. But we'll just see how it goes. First I'll sand it. Hopefully Gary will be here by then. We can give him our coin bracelet, and we can continue to make progress on Chicago John's bass guitar. Well, that hissing is my that's my steamer. I was steaming some jewelry clean after I let this sit, but you can see, and that's untouched yet. There's some places I'm gonna put a little wood putty in, but I'm really real pleased with it, and it is very, very strong. I am gonna have to turn it over here. You see up here where they glued it, it's so rough. I sanded it down some. It's not going to be perfect, but here's where they had the wood screws that went through, and then they penetrated to the back to right there was one, and right there was one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a little hole through here. I'm going to go up and get an 1/8 inch dowel rod, hardwood dowel rod, and dowel it instead of putting a screw in it. It'll look better, it'll look more professional, and I think it'll work better as well. Plus I can keep on sanding this. I'm gonna have to sand the name Memphis also. I hate to do it, it's sort of a vintage guitar, but I might see if there's a way I can avoid that. But if I get it sanded good and try to match a stain, because I am having to remove quite a bit of the stain, especially from this side, from in here. And I want to, you know, you can look down a guitar, it's been just, you know, an idea. This guitar was a club guitar, and I know telling how many bars this thing is set in, and you can tell. I'm going to clean it up. I've already cleaned up the tuners, but I'm going to pull this off and clean it. I'm going to fix this. I'll go down to the Tarpley's and see if I can find a nut that'll fit down there when this thing comes up and out of the way. Get everything nice and tight and working well. I'm not going to refinish all this though. I'm just going to leave it like it is, patinaed. I probably will come in and clean a little on the fingerboards a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with it actually. So yeah, I'm gonna let it lay the rest of the day and call this and done for today. I'm not. Gary Byers showed up. Hey Gary.
Hey.
Gary's the one who won the bracelet. I'll show it to you again. Yeah. There it is. And here you go. I'm going to show him how to put it on here in a minute, and I'll get back after we. So there you go.
Yes, sir.
Check that out. Turn your arm, Gary. Look at that. We're going to have another giveaway. It's not going to be for one of those, but it's going to be for something. Gary will probably be in it. Maybe he won't win this one.
I won't win this time, man.
Cool.
Share the wealth, though.
Hi, thanks for commenting, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Drill this hole out and this hole out. I came in last night, you can see the shininess. I filled those holes with dust, with, as I explained before, the same kind of dust that I use, wood dust, I use when I'm mounting stones. I actually just get this at Home Depot. You can go there, they'll let you sweep it up. Some of it's coarse, but I like it to be real fine, and it makes a really good wood putty. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is drill some pilot holes with a smaller bit and get them back. That one all the way through. That one went all the way through. We have a hole here and a hole here. Now, that was how, you can see how much bigger this is going to be. It's going to be a pretty big size increase. But I'm going to drill them all the way through, and then this ought to be an exact fit for this for the dowel rod I picked up. So I'm going to shut it off briefly while I sink these in, and then I'll turn it back on when we start placing the dowel pins. And I could use Elmer's on this. I got some Elmer's now, but I'm not gonna. I really like this glue for everything. And you know, there was of course I've been through, had wars with super glue products before not working. It seemed like when they first came out, way back in the day, they worked better than they were. So that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna let that set up one more day, and then you can see on the bottom as well. I'll turn it over. You can see the way they are on the bottom, and then I'll make up my wood paste. I've already used a little of it in here, you can see. And when I turn off the camera, I'm going to sand a little bit here and there and try to even everything up. Because with any luck, tomorrow I'll be staining and varnishing. And I've got some varnish here. It's floor varnish, but you know, if it can withstand people's footsteps, I think it can withstand Chicago John's fingers. Just one more view and an explanation. I went ahead and I took some of my dust and I just sprinkled it in there, and then I just used this, and as you can see, it did great. Okay. Excuse me. I've been working on, I got a little called gun stock, and I've put it on, stained it. You can tell it's a pretty good match. It ain't perfect, but it's not bad. I also got another piece of bone to redo this bone nut. Shouldn't take me too awful long. I wanted to get something just like it, but this isn't bone anyway. This is a plastic. I'd rather go in this as a cowbone, and I'd rather use real bone on it. Take a little bit longer, but we're getting there. I'm putting the stain on it now. I went up to Home Depot and found something that was similar. It's not going to be exact. On the back, I tried it first on the back in case it was going to be too far gone and too far out, and it did pretty good on the back, but I wanted to show you. I'll try to show you as I do it. And I just, you know, you can use a cloth, or this is this cloth paper towel rolls that you get in a box, and the box got rained on, and so now I just got a bunch of towels. But I went ahead and up here, I knew I wasn't ever going to hit it perfect right here, and I didn't want to take off the Memphis, so I I just sanded it in that one spot using I used a vibrator sander. And like I say, it's not perfect, but it looks pretty, I'm pleased with it overall. Well, there's my bone nut that I cut. I cut this one in two and measured it using the old one and the bridge itself. The old one wasn't that good of a fit. And one of the things you can see that I've already started doing, you can look down the axis of it, and I need to get it on an incline. If you don't do something, it's gonna just be open in the back. It's not gonna, there's gonna be a gap right there, which means it's not gonna glue really good on all sides. And you can see it if you press it right up against the neck. You can see how it looks like it's leaning forward. So what I've done on this one is I've started using, and I'm going to use my files. I started using this file and this, and it's just a slow process of getting it right. One of the things I'm using is this too, and I'm sure if you're not a silversmith or a jeweler, you'll go, what is that? This is a thing to hold rings with. It only costs, you can get them on Rio Grande, out of Albuquerque. They have a big website. They're the biggest silversmith suppliers. Something like this is real handy, not just for holding rings, but like in this case, holding this nut. And what it allows me to do is to get it steady, and then I can watch it. I went ahead and put a little arrow on there for me, so I'd always know which end of it I was taking off. And that's this end. And we're gonna put it up there now. Okay, here's the nut. You can see I've worked on it quite a bit. You can look down it and you can see the significant slant that's in it. And when that's put up now against here, thusly, you can see what a good tight fit it is. So anyway, I'll draw this out and we can keep on shaping and forming, but we'll be there on this before too long. And I'll be back. And there's a picture of the bone nut attached. I got it to line up pretty good, a lot better than the old one was lining up. Of course, I'm still going to have to, as you can see my lines across the top of it, I'm still going to have some carving work to do on it, but it should be relatively easy. Let this sit overnight. You can tell as well the headstock looks pretty good on this side. On this side it looks really good on this side. For all intents and purposes, I finished this segment of it, and I'm going to go ahead and publish this podcast. One thing that I'm going to work on, and I'll go over here and show you this one, is this guitar right here. This is an old 1929 Cincinnatus. It's a real famous old parlor guitar. It's actually a Martin guitar, and it was in my grandmother's estate. I remember as a kid, so we're talking 60 years ago, going up in her attic and seeing it and wondering about it. And I've asked my mom, of course, about it before she passed, and they used to get together every Sunday and they would play this thing, and you could tell by looking at that fretboard, it's really had some playing on it. But I'm going to get it. I'm going to fix the whole thing. I'm going to put on a new bridge and tailpiece, and that's why I got that extra nut, because I'm going to put the nut in there as well, and this will be the next project I do. So I'm going to do a couple of guitars. I've been wanting to do this, and I thought, why not? I think it'll make some really good footage. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It was a struggle to get it this far, and it's just like everything. The last day I worked on it, anything that could go wrong went wrong, but we got it, the neck fixed. We're going to test it on the next show, but I did want to finish this episode up and go ahead and publish it, because I wanted to also mention that in our coin bracelet giveaway, as y'all saw during the show, Gary Byer here locally won the giveaway, and he's real happy. I saw him out the other day. He was wearing that bracelet. It really was a nice looking bracelet. But I'm gonna make something else around here to give away. I think I'm gonna make a bolo, because I make really nice bolos, and you know, my bolo starting price is about $500, and I make some that are $3,000. So I'm just gonna do one sort of middle of the road, about $1,000 piece, and see. You know, we're gonna run another giveaway. I'll have to work on it a little while. I have this one here that I made, but it's Chicago's. I still hadn't finished. I'm still trying to finish the ends of it. That was on an earlier episode. But yeah, I'm going to be making one to give away. So y'all stay tuned for the next episode. I don't have the opportunity to put out as many as I want. I hope I have another one. I hope I have this guitar completed and the other guitar started, that I can put out another one within the next week. But until then, y'all have a great day and a fantastic week. Please like and subscribe at the end. It means so much to us when you do, that somebody's out there listening. And if you've got some comments, please comment. I know some of the things we do here are really strange, so they certainly deserve a comment. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time here on the Flatlanders Show.
Be there to switch.